Hey, it's Joy. I've got big feelings about little things, and I want to talk about it. Oh, yeah, I'm mad about it. And the fact that everyone else is not up in arms about it is a big part of the problem. Oh, I bawled my eyes out, like I always do. It was the sweetest thing. Oh, it was the cutest thing. It was the funniest thing. Thanks for being here. Let's go. Hi, how are you? I'm so glad to be here with you. I am having really big feelings, big kind of nostalgia feelings today. And since what I'm missing, I could get by connecting with you, let's do this. Okay. So I'm really, really missing that experience of everybody watching the same show. When I was growing up, there were very few options. There was 3 networks and maybe Fox was coming up at that time. There were 3 networks and there was usually something pretty popular that was watched the night before. And as much as I appreciate that right now we have a lot of options and there's a lot more niche stuff that you can watch, man, if you want to watch the same thing over and over again, like you just want to watch the next true crime thing and the next true crime thing and the next true crime thing, you'll never run out of stuff to watch. You will never run out of content that matches that wish, which great in a certain way. But then that means if your best friend here is watching them clean out garages and then clean out another garage and clean out another garage and clean out another garage, y'all are never going to cross paths. Maybe one crossover show. You can chit chat about it, fill each other in on who's the guy that always cleans out the garage and what does he normally find and why does he have such a hard time when he comes upon the Barbie doll house or whatever. But otherwise, you're on one path, the other one's on the other path. And I think it came up because I'm watching Severance, which is a show on Apple TV. It is pretty niche, I will say. And nobody in my life is watching it. The 2 friends I have that watch it are wanting to watch it straight through. They want to binge it. And this was a show that came out week by week by week by week. And I'm watching it week by week. So the season finale was coming up. Now, by the time you listen to this, I mean, unless you're like one of my A+, listen to it on the way in Thursday morning on the way into work, which I thank you very much for being that. Unless you're one of those, the season finale's already come out. But my friends, instead of having somebody to talk to every week, they're waiting on the end so they can binge it. A lot of other people that I know, you name it, don't have Apple TV. Don't really like that kind of dystopian thing. Started it and thought it was too slow. Couldn't disagree with you. But the fact that we have so many options, it's like really taking away that thing. I mean, if you first say a TV show, what is the very first question you ask? What is it on? What is it on? Let's stop this at the pass. Head this off at the pass if this isn't going to work out. Is it on a streaming service I don't have? Okay, then honestly, let's not even get into it for what? Nothing. I'm not adding a new service. I've been talked into too many of them. So if it's not even on a service I have, I mean, seriously, why even move? Why even keep talking? But there used to be this almost like a connection. When I was in high school, we would all walk in and say, I don't know that we would all walk in and say, but I would say a lot of us were watching Seinfeld at that time. A ton of us. And I remember us walking in and someone being like, so what does Mulva rhyme with? And just to even know what that meant, like if you know what I mean when I say that, there's a little connection there. We have a little kind of inside joke. We have a thing that we both experienced, even if it was separately, we can connect with it now. And those of you that didn't, you feel so alienated by that, right? Like, I didn't even want to say that, except I have to show my point. And the more separated we are on everything, like, no one can get any of my Severance references. So I'm always, my algorithm right now is all Severance jokes and Severance memes because that's me craving to connect with somebody over it. No one I know, not anyone I'll ever have anything to do with until season 3 comes out. But we used to come to work the next day, come to school the next day, and talk about what happened. There's still like, on a certain night, most of us would have been watching American Idol. Most of us, when I was a little tiny kid, were watching the Huxtables. There was a little something there. And honestly, even post streaming, I think the most recent example I have is the Tiger King. Did you watch the Tiger King? I definitely know some people that did not, but man, a lot of us did. That was during COVID, during the very early weeks of our just kind of initial, like, hey, everybody stay home and let's try to like chill this out a little bit. Let's try to slow this down a little bit. And when we just had not a clue what was going on, and your fridge was probably like mine, was just filled, crammed into every corner with food, not knowing how long I needed to, kind of stay inside. I was like, do I need a work note to be to be in the car, to be out and about? There was those very unsettling times. And almost all of us watched The Tiger King. And it was just insane, and it was weird, and just even bringing it up was such an interesting, you had that thing, you had that common language. And sometimes we'll get it with like the Super Bowl. That was fun. Everybody talked about the halftime show and Serena Williams and the whole, like, that was nice, but it's so brief, like one day a year is just not quite enough for me to feel like we're part of something. And it started to fall apart when like TiVo came out. TiVo is a brand name DVR, but it was like the very first one, and it had its own little personality. And I'm still kind of crushed that it didn't make it. And I understand why, because every service provider just started giving it with their service. So it kind of drove them out of business. But it was adorable. Their setup was awesome. When you did remote, they had certain sounds like bloop 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 would be to like fast forward, and there was another one. You'd hit the end and it would bonk, bonk, something like that. There's like bloop, bloop, and it had little cartoon TV. Hey, welcome to TiVo. That was a good time. But that started a splintering off, because even if you were watching the popular thing that was on a network, you may have recorded it. Don't tell me I haven't watched it yet. So somebody watched it live and then somebody had it on their DVR. It's like, okay, well, I'm not quite there yet. Just don't tell me yet. And that's where we started splintering off. And now with streaming, you start whenever you want, whatever you want, whatever time of day or night. It's just, we're so all over the place. There's nothing to connect with. And even like the movies. You think I'm seeing the same movie as someone else? I think that's also why Wicked was so fun for those of us that watched it and loved it, because it had been a while since we had a shared experience like that. That's the thing. It's like this shared experience where you don't have to be in the same room, you don't have to be on the same schedule, but close enough that when you reconnect, that's fresh for both of you and it's fun and you can talk through it. And it's hard to explain if you've never been through it. And I understand that anybody can find another fan of their thing. It's like walking by somebody at the airport that's reading your book and you're like, oh my gosh, can we please talk about this? This is unbelievable. But to have so many people having the same experience. I just miss it, you know? I kind of miss that time. I wish we could do it again, you know? Even if it was like, oh, The Sopranos or something. That's when we are sort of starting to specialize a little bit more and there were more options and stuff. But even then, that was such a huge show that still a lot of people were connected and knew what was going on, or I don't know. I do think there is a possibility. Now, even as I'm saying all this, I'm about to contradict myself. I do think there is something kind of special going on. There's a show on Max, which is like the HBO Max streaming service. And I know I just said not everybody has everything, but it's a show called The Pit, and that's the nickname for an emergency department. It's a full medical show. It's kind of in the vein of 24, which is that you watch an hour of the show and you saw an hour in real time. So it's like episode 1 is 7 to 8, episode 2 is 8 to 9. You're sort of watching in real time a full day shift at the ER. And it's great. Just a lot of medical people are watching it and enjoying it. And the probably best part of it, if you ask me, is that Noah Wiley is playing the lead. He's the attending physician, which is like head the head guy. I guess just to give you the very basics, if you not quite sure how the hospital runs, a hospital that is a teaching hospital. So not every hospital is like this. Some hospitals are the doctors and they're all attendings, and then the other staff, and that's who you see. In a teaching hospital, the kids that, and I will say kids, and I do mean it because most of them are, the kids that are going through medical school on their way up, you're not in class learning all that. There's some class learning, but you're in the hospital working it out. And so the interns are there and they're brand new. So they're like, you know, learning everything. And then you become a resident, which is like a more functioning kind of running the hospital. If you go to a fellowship, then you become a fellow and you get a little bit more specialized training. Like surgeons have to go to that. Endoscopists and neurologists, and a lot of them do a fellowship to have a special skill. And that, I mean, if you're in like brain surgery, that can be up to 7 years. So there's lots of that. And then when you're finally just fully functioning, you're an attending at the hospital, you're not in training anymore, you're doing the work, and you kind of lead a team of those doctors. So the intern reports to the resident reports to a fellow if there is one, and they report to the attending. And if you know anything about the good old days, when here I go, Granny says the good old days, when most people were watching network TV, there was a huge show on Thursday nights called ER. And guess what it was about? An ER. And it was a huge, huge show. Tons of people watched it. Tons of people would talk about it on Friday. It was actually Thursday was like a huge night for TV. It was like Friends and Seinfeld and ER. And you could just like forget about going out that night most of the time. I was like, great, Thursday night. Let's watch TV. And ER was fantastic, and it was great because it was just like very gritty. It was, the backstories were amazing. George Clooney was on it. I mean, what more do you want? He was a pediatrician, of course. And Noah Wiley, the first episode of ER, Noah Wiley played an intern on his first day. So he comes in and he's like this kid, and then we watch him kind of grow up. We watch him have some struggles. We watch him learn some stuff. We watch him fall in love and get his heart broken and all the things. And we learn, about his growing up, and he was privileged and all that. You see him go from this bumbling little, really looks like a little kid, to a full-fledged, like, we know you're running the hospital. We watched that arc on ER. And now on this show, it's like we show up and he's running the thing. And they let him have this great beard, and I mean, honestly, the beard is worth it all to me, but it's a great show. And like I said, a lot of medical people are watching it. And a lot of medical people are like, yeah, that probably seems crazy, but yeah, we've seen that in real life. We've seen that come through in real life. And yeah, that seems crazy, but yeah, people do say that. People say that exact thing to us. Yeah, okay. That looks good. Of course, nothing's perfect, but so far I've thought it was great. But even just that, even like at work to have a couple people that watch the same show is so encouraging. It's like it's so fun. And now we still have to say, well, I'm only on episode 2. Hang on, Oh, I'm on episode 8, so don't spoil anything. It's not quite the same, but it's scratching a little bit of an itch that I have. I miss it. I miss the next day being like, can you believe about Ross and Rachel? You know, can you believe on this side or can you believe it on this side? I mean, that ride that they took us on, and there was no possibility of streaming. We just had to sit and wait. We had to sit and wait to see what happened next week or next season. I mean, we couldn't even fast forward through the commercials. That came with TiVo as well. I mean, maybe if you recorded it on a VCR and you could fast forward. But if you don't know what a VCR is, don't worry about it. Honestly, you'll see it in a museum one day. It's fine. And I'm not bitter about it. Okay. I hope you know what I mean. Just only because I just need something to connect with somebody on right now. And I miss it. I miss them good old days. I mean, can you imagine if when I was growing up, they had like I Love Lucy on or something? Carol Burnett. I'd really be I'd really be missing that. And I don't want to miss all the options we have. I don't know. It's the people and the connection thing that I miss about it, It's that experience. It's fun. If you've never had it before, I hope you get it at some point. Maybe we could do like instead of a book club, we could do like a TV show club. Even if it's something old. Like I never did watch The Sopranos. So I kind of would love it. I'd love to just see what's everybody talking about. But I need like 10 other people to, 10. What am I talking about? 2? 2 other people. 2 would be plenty for me. My standards are so low now. Well, I hope you have a great week coming up. I hope that you have the exact kind of connections that you're looking for. And I hope you're watching something great. Either way, thanks for listening. Love you.
Thanks for listening to Little Things, Big Feelings with Joy Delaney. I'm James, the producer, editor, director, and executive producer. Follow Joy on socials at Joy Delaney Cox on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Honestly, forget TikTok. I don't even know how to use it anyway.
You don't know how to use it anyway.
James?
Follow Joy on socials at Joy Delaney Cox on Instagram and Facebook. See you next week.